Hi, what's happening, y'all? It's your boy Rico from RicoScores, and I was so busy working on another video, and then I was like, let me just go ahead and just get this one out the way now. Apparently, the Washington Commanders are flying to have dinner with McCarthy. They're going to him all the way in Michigan to have dinner with him. And we're going to do a full breakdown of why that could be a good idea, and of course why I feel like that would be a potentially terrible idea to end up taking McCarthy. But we got to also talk about how his comp could be kind of like a Brock Purdy, and you remember who drafted Brock Purdy a couple of years ago. Also, would you argue that McCarthy is the safest pick, second overall, over the guys like Jayden McDaniels and Drake May? We're going to dive into everything. We're going to take a look at some advanced stats. We're going to talk about what some NFL executives are saying about McCarthy, what the word is out on him as of right now. Is he really quarterback 3 over like a Drake May? All of that. But before we dive into anything, make sure you stiff arm that like button, stiff arm the subscription button, and stiff arm the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. Make sure you stay tuned because I'm coming to hit with y'all with all kinds of videos. I was working on the top 30 visits video, but then this one felt like something that needed to be separated from everything else. Like, this video needs to stand alone, and I'm gonna come out with the top 30 visits with the tight end and the tackles that we're already bringing to the DMV. I'm gonna update y'all on that. Working on a mock draft, doubling back to FL Bottle, like I keep saying. All of that, man, it's on the way. Stay tuned, keeping y'all updated with every little Commanders thing going on right now. I really appreciate y'all. Stay tuned. Let's go ahead and get to this video, man. Let's get it. Adam. Alright, so first of all, before we even get moving, man, happy 8th birthday to Mia, man. Appreciate the support. Go crazy for your birthday, man. Much love out there to you, man. What's good, John? Yes, sir, man. Alright, so let's go ahead and get to the video report. Everything started with, I think this was what, yesterday? Yeah, this was yesterday. It was reported by Albert Breer that the Vikings are planning to have a private workout with Michigan quarterback McCarthy. That was the start of everything. And they are the team that, honestly, I feel like are the most likely to draft a McCarthy and may even get aggressive to trade up to get him, to do whatever it takes to get him ahead of the Giants, who sit at the 6th overall pick. Remember, the Vikings are at 11th right now, so it would take quite a bit of value, but I can see the Vikings feeling like it's worth it. And then, speaking of the Giants, then today we get a report from Jordan Schultz, sources to Bleacher Report. Michigan quarterback McCarthy visited the Giants last week, which included dinner with the front office and a tour of the facilities. And it didn't stop there, because there's even more news now for Commanders fans. Just to let you know, the Commanders are flying out to Ann Arbor to have dinner Thursday night with McCarthy, the night before his pro day, per multiple sources. Hey, man, you know, as Commanders fans, once something affects us, it's time to dive into it. And first of all, just to let y'all know, we are going to do this with all top quarterbacks. Let's just go ahead and get that out the way. Let's not act like McCarthy is anything special. The only difference, like, let's not overreact over the fact that McCarthy is the first one reported or the first one done. That's it. Like, it may just simply be that simple. Nothing more to it than he's just the first one that we've heard about. That's it. I don't think he's going to be the only one. I don't think they're necessarily prioritizing him is like that we got to talk to him first because that's our favorite quarterback prospect. I feel like that's us jumping to conclusions. But, you know, Rico of RicoScores, I got to throw every little idea and thought out there just in case. But I highly doubt that is the case for this situation. Also, hey, Giants, come talk to me, man. You know, just hit me out real quick. Don't y'all already have a quarterback that y'all are paying over $40 million a year right now? Like, either y'all made a big mistake earlier in the past or y'all are making a big mistake now. Y'all got to choose one, bro. Because taking a top 10 quarterback in the draft, 6th overall, when you still have a $40 million per year quarterback on contract is very contradictory. It's a contradictory contract. Y'all got to figure something out, Giants. I'm not feeling that over here, man. I don't know what y'all got going on. Y'all sending mixed signals, man. But hey, man, for real though, the Giants can have them. I know I'm complaining. I'm like, I don't know what y'all doing over there, but please take him. Please don't allow us to get him. I do feel like he is getting a little bit more hate than he deserves as far as like his evaluation as a quarterback and things like that. And I do feel like he's more toolsy than people are realizing as far as like ceiling, arm strength, mobility, and things like that. But we better not take him at number 2 overall, nor should we even trade back later to get him. No thanks. You take Jayden Daniels, you take Drake Maye. That's it. I've already given up on Caleb Williams, but I would love for that to somehow happen too as well. But JJ McCarthy, no. I'm only happy with 3 quarterbacks in this draft class. That's me personally. That's not even just because that's the general consensus. That's not my opinion because that's how most people feel. I've watched my own tape, and that's honestly how I feel as well. That's why there are so many people that feel that way. This is not just like a agenda or anything like that. No, it's just really top 3 quarterbacks, 3 guys that's the top, and then there's like another tier of some more guys, and then all of that type of stuff. JJ McCarthy is not in that top tier in my opinion. But we're about to dive into why people are kind of sleep on him. We're going to dive into some advanced stats to why he's not like a second rounder. He's not just this guy that's just complete trash like a lot of people are acting like. So I guess I'm somewhere in the middle, but I'm still big no. Like there's no way you have a pick that high and you don't take the ceiling. You don't bet on the elite talent. You don't go safer guy up there. You just can't. I'm just going to assume that this is either a severe case of due diligence on our part, or maybe even a smoke screen to get everybody off of our trail. Maybe even a mix of both. I guess we'll see. I mean, it's Lion season right now, even though that's technically not a lot. That's like real. We're going to go see him. But, you know, Adam Peters, you know, who knows what he's doing? We're going to talk about it later. I don't even think Adam Peters knows what he's going to do yet. So, how can anybody else know? He doesn't even know. But it's March 19th right now. The draft doesn't happen for over a month. So many things can change. Because, like, say even worst case scenario, for some odd reason, they are leaning towards JJ McCarthy right now. We still have pro days. We still have to bring guys out to the DMV to work out in Ashburn and things like that. Things could change just like that for that as well. So you just never know. Also, maybe there's something to the fact that he is the first one. Like maybe if you look at it from a different angle, maybe they just want to make sure, and then, you know, we'll get to the real ones afterwards. Like, let's talk to JJ McCarthy, due diligence and things like that. But, you know, the real guys we want come after that. Let's just go ahead and get the other guy out the way. We'll see, though. I'm purposely trying to overthink every scenario possible so that we aren't caught off guard by anything. I'm just here to prepare y'all for every possibility. Again, I'm basically just speaking my mind right now, just throwing any idea out there that could be the reasoning for this right here, even if I got to play devil's advocate. But shouts out to JP Finley because I agree. So the Commanders are going to meet with JJ McCarthy. They should consider all options. Remember when the Niners traded up to number 3 in the 2021 draft and it was presumed to be for Trey Lance, but there were rumors of Mac Jones, Justin Fields? I think this will be similar. They're not going to make number 2 obvious, and thank goodness they shouldn't. But moving on, even though I don't want him, but let me emphasize this, I do not want JJ McCarthy at all. But stats-wise, JJ McCarthy is probably better than you think. First of all, shouts out to Nick Atridge at Pro Football Focus. He pointed this out. Thought this was interesting, so I did it for the rest of the top 4 quarterbacks, 2022 and 2023 seasons in total. Drake Maye was 19.8% on third downs as far as, we're talking about pressure to sack rate, mind you. My fault for that. We're talking about pressure to sack rate for all of the top quarterbacks in the draft. Drake Maye has a 19.8% on third down, 17.4% on first and second down. Jayden Daniels has an alarming, even though he's my second, only after Caleb Williams. I prefer him over Drake Maye, even though I love Drake Maye as well, too. I'm happy with either of the two. Let's also get that established as well. But he has an alarming 30.2% on third down and 24% on first and second down. So even though he is the most mobile quarterback in this draft class, he takes sacks more often than the other guys. It's really weird. Well, basically, whenever he's pressured, he's more likely to get sacked, whereas everybody else, including JJ McCarthy, who we're about to get to, is more likely to somehow avoid that sack and then make a throw, or instead of it being a sack, it's a QB hit, a QB hurry, or just a plain old pressure. That's it. It's not a whole actual sack like that results in a loss of yards or something like that. So JJ McCarthy has the lowest out of those 3. Drake Maye and Jayden Daniels with a 14.1% on third down and 14.2% on first and second down. So when we're talking about avoiding sacks per pressure, JJ McCarthy is the best there. Also, JJ McCarthy has been one of the most efficient quarterbacks on third down we've ever seen enter the draft. Look at this chart right here, man. When we're comparing conversion rate on third down, like they moved the chains, they were able to pick up a first down, and then quarterback passer rating on third down, JJ McCarthy is just on a whole nother level from everybody else. But you also see my dog Jayden Daniels up there, even higher and further to the right than even CJ Stroud. So, I want to point that out for my guy. And then Drake Maye, I'm surprised his stats are that low, even though I still think he is a great quarterback. But him and Caleb Williams below Will Levis and even Kenny Pickett is very interesting, very, very noteworthy. But again, the reason why we're here is that JJ McCarthy's all the way to the right. Moving on, the same guy that reported that the Giants already had dinner with them, took him on a tour around the facilities, and that the Commanders are about to fly out there Thursday to have dinner with them, all the way back on March 2nd, he said he received a text from an NFL evaluator that said, quote, "Of all these guys, McCarthy translates to the NFL the most," unquote. That's really interesting. So they're basically saying that he has the highest floor out of any quarterback in this draft class. Then Lance Zierlein said that he had a discussion with a position coach for a team that doesn't even need a quarterback who couldn't stop gushing over JJ McCarthy. And his timing, his vision, his intangibles, he said, "I'm telling you, he has a real shot of being a quarterback 3 in this draft." Like, some people really feel like he's going to end up getting picked between Jayden Daniels or Drake Maye, one of them, maybe both of them, again, which is the reason why we're here. Also, don't forget, I feel like a lot of people didn't notice this, but as much as people talk about Drake Maye being younger than Jayden Daniels as a reason to say Drake Maye, JJ McCarthy is half a year younger than Drake Maye. I don't know if people really thought about that or noticed that. And I'm not going to lie, I wouldn't be surprised if Adam Peters looks at JJ McCarthy like a higher ceiling Brock Purdy, who he took in the 7th round a couple of years ago and led his 49ers to the Super Bowl last year. I wouldn't be surprised at all, man. I can see a lot of similarities between what we know now, Brock Purdy, not necessarily him coming out of the draft, but what we know now, his play style and the 49ers offense for Kyle Shanahan and things like that, even though Cliff Kingsbury is not running a Kyle Shanahan offense at all when he comes here. So that may not be relevant to us at all. But at the end of the day, Adam Peters is choosing the quarterback because hopefully the quarterback is here for the next 10, 15 years. That's the goal. Offensive coordinators, you never know. Cliff Kingsbury could ball out and have our quarterback that we end up drafting number 2 overall looking so good that he somehow gets another head coaching opportunity in like 3 years. So quarterback is on. You prioritize that over your offensive coordinator. So I'm pretty sure even though Cliff Kingsbury doesn't run the same offense that Brock Purdy runs with the 49ers, I would not be surprised if Adam Peters says, "So figure it out," type of thing. "I want this quarterback. Go ahead and figure it out," type of thing. But again, either way, I mean, if you're looking at JJ McCarthy and Brock Purdy, he's basically just a higher ceiling Brock Purdy with more tools, like a stronger arm and all of that type of stuff, more proven in college and things like that. Literally, if you're a Brock Purdy fan, there's no way you're not a JJ McCarthy fan, is my point, because they're basically the same guy, but JJ McCarthy is just better in a lot of different ways, at the very least coming out of college, at the very least. But I'm just giving y'all all of this because I'm trying to play devil's advocate right now. Because again, I do not want JJ McCarthy, but I'm just trying to give you every angle on what's going on. And I'm going to keep saying that throughout this video. I do not want JJ McCarthy. But continuing on. Now, let's take a look at some of the, negatives. This first one is kind of like a semi-negative because JJ McCarthy said that his first interview at the Combine was with us, the Washington Commanders, and he was super nervous. Those were his exact words. He said that Cliff Kingsbury asked him if he liked the matchup on the outside, could he audible to a go route? And then he said, "I wish." Which basically, some people took it the wrong way. I took it as basically the poor guy wasn't allowed to have any control at Michigan. Like, here's the play, run the play, that's it. Don't deviate from the plan at all type of thing, which is pretty crazy. I'm not going to lie. I'm pretty sure Jayden and Maye had much more control than that pre-snap coming out of college. So even though some people consider JJ McCarthy to have a higher floor, Jayden Daniels and Drake Maye, all of those guys have actually done pre-snap reads and pre-snap audibles and calls and things like that. I've even seen those guys at times, at least Drake Maye, change protections at the line. And that's not something easy to necessarily do or learn, especially on the fly at the NFL level. And those guys already do that. JJ McCarthy hasn't yet. He said, "I wish." He said, like, I wish I could. I feel like I can, but he hasn't actually done it yet. What you want to do and what you have done are definitely different. Moving on. Also, shouts out to BSO for this point. JJ McCarthy is going to make someone look like either a genius or get everybody fired because nothing on his tape screams top 5 pick. And I completely agree. Then you have Zach Hitz. Well, he's replying to a Benjamin Albright tweet, and I agree with this. Benjamin Albright tweeted, one of the biggest disconnects in evaluating quarterbacks between fans/media and then the league probably occurs because the former, as in fans and media, overvalues production at the collegiate level, and then the latter, as in the league, front offices, coaching staffs, value traits and their ability to coach them up. So Zach Hitz off of that brings up a great point. If we're talking about elite traits, and if NFL teams prefer the guy with the highest traits, the guy that they feel like, you know, I don't necessarily need you to come in here with this floor. We trust our coaching staff. We have an ego. Like, we feel like we could take a guy and turn him into a star. You just have to be able to do everything. At the very least, we could teach you to be more consistent. We could teach you to be smarter, but we can't teach you to have a rocket arm. We can't teach you to have ridiculous mobility and things like that. So by that standard, there's no way that JJ McCarthy is the talk amongst league circles right now. That's definitely more Drake Maye and Jayden Daniels if that's the case. If anything, things should be reversed. The fans and media should love JJ McCarthy at that point if we're talking about production, or at the very least winning in his case. Or if you want to look at efficiency stats. And the NFL front offices and coaches should love Drake Maye and Jayden Daniels over JJ McCarthy. So I don't know how this got all messed up. And then also to the same point, Chad Forbes at NFL Draft Bite said JJ McCarthy has talent. Reason he's so highly thought of league-wide, plays inside structure of the offense, executes plays called, doesn't freelance and deviate from the structure often. Coaches spend hours game planning. It's almost meaningless if you got a quarterback where the foundation of his game is playing outside of structure. I would disagree. Dan Quinn would disagree mightily. Like, that boy said game changer. And Charles Davis even brought up the point that, like, during the combine, while they were doing all their different interviews and talking about different prospects, he talked about how, like, Dan Quinn being the defensive-minded head coach is probably going to bang the table for a guy like Jayden Daniels, because the worst thing as a defensive coordinator is going against a quarterback that you can't plan for. You spend all of those hours, days, and weeks game planning for a quarterback, and then you do everything right for the first 3 to 5 seconds of the play, and the next thing you know, Jayden Daniels is using his legs to extend the play, and now everything you worked so hard on is completely thrown out the window, and now you as a coach have absolutely zero influence and impact on what happens from here on out for the remainder of this play, because Jayden Daniels just decided to use his legs. There's nothing you can do. You can't call a play mid-play. It's not like the defensive players look to the sideline to see what the defensive coordinator's saying is after Jayden Daniels breaks out the pocket. Like, oh, new play? Okay, we're good. We'll just adjust. Like, this is all freelance. It's all completely just chaos. Just pure anarchy after quarterbacks leave the pocket. Basically, all that planning goes out the window. So that's why a guy like Dan Quinn would prefer a Jayden Daniels. So he would definitely disagree with that point. But then again, he's a defensive-minded head coach. He's not the offensive coordinator. So who knows? Maybe Cliff Kingsbury does want somebody that's going to do exactly what he asks him to do to make him look like more of a genius. Because, I mean, I guess I can see it from an ego standpoint. You as a coach, not only on the preparation side, like, what was the point of doing all that preparation if you were just going to do your own thing anyway? But then even, like, looking back, it's like, okay, if this quarterback balled out, he followed your offense to a T, that's going to be a bigger compliment to you as the offensive coordinator than the quarterback himself looking back through history. But also, shouts out to Mixta, I guess that's how you pronounce that, on Twitter. He said Caleb Williams, Heisman winner. Jayden Daniels, Heisman winner. Drake Maye, 5,000 total yards, 45 touchdowns as a 20-year-old. And JJ McCarthy, I know he didn't do much, but I promise you he can. And I felt like that was kind of a good description of everybody. And also, yeah, he's clutch and he has his best games when people need him the most. But how good is his best? Like, define best. His best may not be as good as somebody else's best. Yeah, he gives you his best when it matters most. But even then, how good is his best? Because in his last 2 games, in his biggest games of his career, versus Ohio State, he went 16 for 20, 148 yards, 1 touchdown, 80% completion percentage, 158.7 passer rated. Versus Alabama, 17 of 27, 221 yards, 3 touchdowns, 63 completion percentage, and 168.4 passer rating. And you notice the more he throws the ball, the less efficient he gets, but the more touchdowns he throws. It's give or take. It's up to you. I don't like that, though. Me personally, like, yeah, he's efficient, very efficient, but can he win without a great team around him? He had 44 seniors on that Michigan roster last year. I believe I saw the stat was something crazy. Like, basically, people were talking about, well, they looked like they were pretty much destined to win the championship. Because how do you even convince 44 seniors to stay? With transfer portal, they can go to another team to get more shine. They could have gone to the NFL the year before, all kinds of stuff. How do you end up with 44 seniors on the same team? Like, that's an amazing feat in itself. They should have gotten an award for that, even if they didn't win a championship. Like, congratulations on the player retention award. Like, here's your trophy for that alone, type of thing. So again, 44 seniors around them. I mean, it's just kind of looking at JJ McCarthy like, you know, can you operate without that? Can you operate without having an elite team and an elite run game, most notably? That's one of the knocks on his game. But one thing I do love is how secretive Adam Peters is being right now. Nothing is leaking. We didn't know we had signed cornerback Michael Davis until he was sitting down to do his press conference. It was like, yo, who is this guy? Austin Eckler got up, done with his press conference. Next thing you know, it's Michael Davis. And I know who Michael Davis is by the jersey number, the helmet, but I don't really know his face. I was like, yo, who is this? What just happened? Even Daniel Jeremiah doesn't even know who Adam Peters prefers just yet. And that's what he prides himself on, too, like talking about Daniel Jeremiah. That's what he's known for, being plugged in. Like Mel Kiper and a lot of those other draft analysts more so do mock drafts based on what they would do, like what they would prefer to do, what makes the most sense to them. Daniel Jeremiah tries his best to be as accurate as possible based on what he's hearing from NFL teams, executive scouts, and the decision makers. Like, he does his best job, like, digging to see which way certain teams are leaning. And even he has no idea what Adam Peters is doing. In his latest mock that I'm assuming came out this morning because everybody's talking about it today, his literal quote is, after selecting Drake May second overall to the Commanders, the first sentence is, I don't have any more clarity on this pick than I did in my last mock. As simple as that. Nobody knows what Adam Peters wants right now. And then on top of that, I'm pretty sure Adam Peters doesn't even have a final answer yet. Like, a lot of these debates we're kind of having right now are pointless. Like, do we prefer Jayden Daniels or Drake May? I feel like that's a fun debate to have, but just don't take it too seriously, because at the end of the day, even though I prefer Jayden Daniels, first of all, I love both of them, but secondly, I just feel like I'm going to trust this coaching staff no matter who they take, especially between those two, because I'm assuming they drafted them for a reason. They put in a lot more research and effort and time and experience into this whole situation than I did. I feel like I do trust my own opinion, my own eyes and things like that, but these guys get paid millions of dollars around the clock to do this type of stuff. So if they disagree with my opinion, I'm just going to give them the benefit of the doubt, to be completely honest. I'm not going to be in my feelings about it. No ego. I'm like, hey man, they preferred this guy. There must be a reason, because they do this. I mean, I feel like I kind of do this. I love doing this, but no, they really do this. You see the offseason that Adam Peters is having right now? What's the point of us being so excited about getting Adam Peters and this coaching staff if we're not going to trust whatever decision they make? So that's already why some of these debates are pointless. But then even outside of that, we shouldn't be talking about who Adam Peters prefers. We could debate about who we prefer, but for the reasons I've already given you, even that debate, it's fun, but it shouldn't be taken too seriously. But especially on the Adam Peters side of things, he may not even know what he wants yet. I'm sure that Adam Peters doesn't even know what Adam Peters will take yet in the draft. It's a long process, man. But at the end of the day, I just feel like the Vikings will probably just end up doing whatever it takes to get JJ McCarthy anyway, no matter what. Even if he's not ready week 1, they'll probably just roll with Sam Darnold as a starter until JJ McCarthy is ready. I mean, did y'all see how happy he was, as in JJ McCarthy, when they asked about his formal meeting with the Vikings and Kevin O'Connell at the Combine? That boy lit up. Like, he was so happy. Like, boy, he was smiling ear to ear, man. Like, he was so happy when they asked about the Vikings. I don't remember him being that happy with any of the other teams that he was talking about. So that may be where he wants to go the most. Outside of going as high as possible in the draft, of course, every quarterback's dream is to go number 1 overall. But outside of that, that match just feels too perfect on both ends, like so mutual and good, because y'all can have them. Please take them, man, please. But at the same time, there's rumors going around from Connor J. Hughes that JJ McCarthy is the player that the Giants may want to take in this year's draft. There was a quote, league sources spoke highly of JJ McCarthy when polled by SNY. One high-ranking executive said he'll be a better pro than college player. Another general manager said he has everything teams look for: size, athleticism, arm strength, accuracy, and played in a pro-style offense, unquote. And so that's where the floor comes from, the offense that he played in college. Very run heavy and things like that, playing under center a lot more than the other guys. So apparently the Giants really want him. That's what it's looking like. And then apparently I'm also seeing some Giants fans want him. I saw a Giants fan literally tweet, as a lifelong Giants fan, I say we should get JJ McCarthy. Even trade up to get him. He's legit. And he can sit behind Jones to learn from him. Well, I'm not exactly sure if you want Daniel Jones teaching anybody how to do anything the way that he does it, but I see your point, I guess. But I'm surprised. I thought Giants fans would hate JJ McCarthy, but apparently at least some out there do want him. And apparently there are strong expectations. There's a report from Move the Sticks, Daniel Jeremiah and company, that 4 quarterbacks will be drafted within the top 6 picks of this year's draft. So that is basically number 1 to the Bears, number 2 to us, number 3 to New England, and then at worst, number 6 to the Giants is basically what they're saying. And also the odds are shifting again for picks 4 and 5 in the NFL draft. As of right now, pick 4 for the Arizona Cardinals, it went from Marvin Harrison -260 to -200, and JJ McCarthy was plus 475. Now he's plus 350. And then pick number 5 to the LA Chargers, Malik Neighbors was plus 175, and that's what it still is. But JJ McCarthy went up from plus 400 to plus 350, and Marvin Harrison also went from plus 500 to plus 330. It seems like JJ McCarthy's odds have increased slightly, but it seems like everybody else around him's odds increased even more relatively. So whoever wants him, just to let you know, my whole point is we'll probably have to trade up to like the 5th overall pick at least, just because the Giants are sitting there at 6 overall. And that even includes maybe even the Giants, who may want to go all the way up to number 4, just in case, if they really want him that bad. But hey, man, Vikings and Giants, y'all will go ahead and fight over them. We as Commanders fans will go ahead and take Jayden or Drake. Please, Adam Peters. But I just wanted to give y'all that rundown on JJ McCarthy right there. But yeah, man, that's the end of this video. Please get in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about everything discussed in this video. This whole JJ McCarthy experience and the fact that the Commanders are going all the way to Michigan to meet with them. Hopefully this time going to Michigan, they're not mid-flight and the guy that they're going to meet with cancels on them this time around. You know, maybe JJ McCarthy actually officially takes the meeting. We'll see. Again, last time he met with the Commanders, he was nervous. You never know. Maybe he gets nervous and is like, nah, I think I can't go through with it type of thing. Like a certain somebody that coaches for Michigan. That's actually a really crazy situation. It's a crazy parallel. But yeah, man, let me know how you feel about everything discussed in this video. Of course, leave a like on the way out. It's free for y'all and it means the world to me. So please make sure you leave a like no matter what you do. Leave a comment, all of that type of stuff. I'm trying my best to read and reply to as many comments as possible. I've just been very busy lately, so that's why I'm trying to get back to doing like 2-3 videos a day. So just stay patient with me. And also, man, make sure you stiff arm that like button, stiff arm the subscription button, and the bell next to that subscription button. All of that, man, so you can stay tuned with every update. Again, I'm working on a mock draft. I'm working on more prospects that we're interested in right now that we're bringing in for top 30 visits, all of that type of stuff. So stay tuned for all of that. Really appreciate y'all. I'm gonna catch y'all later. I'm out.